watching a Canvas Live event. Canvas Live sessions are presented by Canvas community members, Instructure employees, and/or Canvas partners to help Canvas users improve and enhance their teaching and learning with Canvas. The views and opinions expressed at these events are not the official views and opinions of Canvas or Instructure. Enjoy. So I hope you guys are all having a good day, and I hope you are excited for this showcase. So what is a community showcase and why do we do it? Well, at Instructure, we make software to make what you do easier, and we really care a lot about you and your success, and we believe we can aid that success by surrounding you with a vibrant community of fellow users. So at community.canvaslms.com, you're going to find hundreds of guides, answers, discussions, ideas, and live events just like this one. And also on any given day, there are going to be tens of thousands of other active users there to help you out. And today is a special day where we want to take a sample of this awesome community experience and showcase it to give it the recognition and attention it deserves. Okay, so who am I? I'm Adam Williams. I am a community specialist here at Instructure. And let's talk a little bit about community showcases. If you've never seen a community showcase before, by their very nature, they start and end with all of those who engage with each other and blow us away with their giving nature in the community. From information to inspiration, the sharing and growth of this community, it really is awe-inspiring. And, unfortunately, while we can't recognize everyone accordingly, we do want to periodically shine a light on a handful of fine examples. Before we begin, I want you all to give yourselves a round of applause. Everybody who's been in our community, who's ever done anything in the community, you all deserve a big round of applause because showcases come from all of the amazing stuff that you guys do. First actual presenter is Greg Beyer. He is the Distance Education Coordinator and a contract instructor at Cosumnes River College. Greg, go ahead and take it away. Tell us what you got.
Adam, I am, my full-time job is the member of the faculty at CRC, but I'm here to talk about some of the work I have done as a contract instructor for the @ONE project. And I'll talk about that on the next slide. But before I leave this slide, you can see that I am celebrating Dia de Muertos today. So happy Dia de Muertos. Let's talk about who I am and where I am. CRC is a community college in California. And several years ago, the state legislature created the Online Education Initiative, or OEI. The purpose of the OEI is to increase the number of transfers that we have by making it easy for well-prepared students to take well-designed and well-supported online classes at other community colleges in the state. We, of course, have to have a common learning management system for that, and we chose Canvas in the spring of 15. And to show you how popular Canvas is within the California Community College system, there were 2 colleges using Canvas prior to that choice. Since then, 106 of the 114 colleges have switched. So we are have a true system-wide, a statewide system rather, which of course is very helpful for us. And then there's a separate project called @ONE, which is the online network of educators. It's been around for quite a while, and it provides online and other professional development for the faculty and staff in the system. And so it was natural, of course, for the @ONE program to be involved in training the faculty across the colleges in California and how to use Canvas. And I was tasked with helping develop a class called Introduction to Teaching with Canvas, which I have taught a total of 31 times since the fall of 15. And is, you can imagine, made me quite busy. And of course, the @ONE project is quite busy helping all of our folks across the state learn how to use Canvas. So what I really wanted to do, of course, is help my colleagues learn how to use Canvas. And that sometimes requires one-on-one instruction. Since this is an online class and my students are from across the state, we are using some synchronous rich media communication for instruction. And of course, I wanted to model that for them because some of the people taking these classes will be using Canvas to support online classes. I also wanted to bring the Canvas community to the CCC system. One of the reasons that we chose Canvas was because of how well Instructure involves, how thoroughly Instructure involves its user base. And of course, the Canvas community is a prime example of that. Involves its user base in their developments and the ways that they support and allow us to support each other. And so I wanted to bring that into the people who are taking the class, and then also wanted to bring the CCC system into the Canvas community. Of course, there are lots of folks in our state who do a good job with online learning and who make very creative and effective use of the technologies that we have. So I'm hoping that by connecting the people who are taking my classes as well as the broader Canvas community, that we can get some really awesome connections here. So here's what I did for my class. I scheduled a weekly office hour, and I called it the Canvas Clatch, using a tool called Confer Zoom. Now, Zoom is the technology that we use. It's for video conferencing, and Confer Zoom is how we brand it because it's provided by our state chancellor's office, and it's similar to the @ONE program in that way. I awarded extra credit for reflection after participating or viewing a recording. I want the people who are taking the class, of course, they're learning how to use Canvas, but they're also learning what it means to be a student in a fully online class, and reflecting on that is an important part of that class for their work using Canvas as teachers. And then how I connected the community was I created a Canvas Live event to invite Canvas users from all around the world. I put that on the Canvas Live page, of course, included a link to that Confer Zoom room. What is nice about the Zoom technology that we've been using is that the viewer who's participating in it, of course, does not need a license, but all they need to do is one click and they're in the room. That tool, of course, has screen sharing and can be recorded. So I posted the recordings of our sessions in those Canvas Live events. I've got a screenshot there showing something from, I think that was Friday, March 3rd, the Canvas class that I held for that day. Okay, and then, so the next slide, of course, is what the results were. We did make some connections. Most of the, I did have several people from the Canvas community join those Canvas Clatch sessions live, and that was wonderful. I can say that one of the best parts about teaching that class for the @ONE project is the opportunity to make connections with people throughout our system, throughout California. And of course, when we involve the Canvas community, we can get that from all around the world. So I did have visitors who came from Nevada and Missouri, Florida, outside of the United States. I had someone call in from the Philippines. She was a nursing instructor there, someone from Australia, and I had someone from Colombia, which was quite exciting. When I mentioned Dia de Muertos, you heard, perhaps in my accent, how well I can speak Spanish, which is not very. And I had this person connecting from Colombia who did not speak English very well. So our communication initially consisted of going back and forth in the chat, because my ability to translate Spanish when I see it written is a little bit easier than my ability to translate it when hearing. I assume that my visitor was the same way. But I remember I mentioned that these sessions are recorded, so I'm going to end with a short clip from when I tried to use the Google Translate app on my iPhone live to facilitate some communication, and I had quite a bit of fun with that. This is a training in how to teach with Canvas.
Este es un entrenamiento sobre cómo enseñar con Canvas.
Este es un entrenamiento sobre cómo enseñar con Canvas, not cannabis. Okay.
Oh man, Greg, thanks so much for that. That was really funny. I love that you took what you were already doing and you tossed it out there on the Canvas community just to see what would happen. And I think we've seen that, great things can happen. And that's what we're here to spotlight, is the power of the Canvas community and how it can connect people from around the world. Speaking of around the world, our next presenter is Christian Still, and he is the head teacher at Focus Learning Trust.
Good evening. As you can see, I've had a long day at work. I'm now at home, but when you get propositioned by a panda to present, it's hard to resist. Okay, so I work in a very small school. It's an all-through school. So for us, that crosses the 3 stages of education, and we're part of a larger global network of schools in the UK and also globally, and we all work on Canvas in our own way. I'm the head teacher, so giving this presentation is a little bit of a fraud, really. It should be somebody else. It should be our digital coach that's talking. So I'm kind of talking on their behalf. I've been working with Canvas for about 8 months, but been interested in blended learning for some 10 years. So really, as I said, it's a little bit fraudulent me being here because the work's being done by other people. And as a head teacher, I have a different viewpoint. So we wanted to adopt Canvas. I think everybody here has been adopting Canvas, and some people like Greg are a little bit more further along the line than us, but we were fairly, as a school, quite green and quite novice. And we, as an organization, had appointed digital coaches, and that wasn't me, that was another member of staff. So my job as a head teacher was to help them help others. So once we got past the idea that we didn't want Canvas looking like a dog's dinner, we worked on the organizational level on introducing Canvas to staff, and we went down a very traditional route of providing staff with a course on how to use Canvas. And unfortunately, that didn't go as well. It didn't really engage our staff. So locally, at our particular campus, we looked at smaller bite-sized pieces of Canvas, and we brought staff together to work on that. One of the things that we found really helped was we set up some office spaces with 2 screens. So as people were learning to use Canvas, they could have it on one screen, and then they could have their finished page live on the other, and they could simply refresh that. So it meant that they didn't have to keep. Okay, so we wanted to change the perspective of our teachers. So what I really, really wanted to do, that's a reference to the Spice Girls there for you non-Anglophiles, was to give them the experience of their students. So rather than teach them how to use Canvas, we thought they'd be better off experiencing Canvas. So we turned our teachers into students. So we did some guerrilla coaching there, and we created a course, a 6-week course, and we got teachers to talk about an area that they were familiar with, and that was teaching. We looked at a particular area of teaching, which was feedback, and all of a sudden things changed. Staff started engaging with Canvas as learners, and they took part. We have 3 component parts that all teachers have to provide. That's assignments, discussions, and content. And teachers started using the discussion as a student, and then we'd hear conversations like, oh, how do you set that up? Or can you do that? Or I've been asked to provide feedback. How did you do that? So they started to ask questions based on their experiences, and that started to go well. They liked the idea of having assignments, and they loved getting feedback and little high fives and comments. And they started talking to one another about their assignments and their deadlines. Well, it was quite interesting. Teachers were talking like students. And then we started to see Canvas mature and grow. And certainly we had the analytics to look at. So we knew which staff were doing well and which staff were engaging. And we kind of paired up those which were finding life a little more challenging. So what did we learn? Well, staff benefited from a blended learning experience. So staff development was traditionally on site on a Tuesday afternoon, and we let them go home. And they did their professional development where they wanted to, at the time that they wanted to. And they talked about it often when they came back and met up with one another in the staff room. Some staff created their own working groups, and actually got together and created like little study tables, 2 or 3 staff working together, sometimes a snatched moment after school, or maybe whilst standing getting a cup of coffee. We did actually at the end go back to a classroom environment, and they pitched to one another what they'd learnt about feedback. And then we moved it to, what did you learn about Canvas? And for a few of them, there was an aha moment that they realized that they'd kind of been duped. The last thing we finished was a quiz. That wasn't a mandatory part of our introduction. And this is what they then asked us for. So where we had been providing training and expecting them to get on, they then said, oh, can we have some work around assignments? We haven't covered the speed grader. Of course, when you're building a course, you don't think about the speed grader until you're a teacher and you're grading work, and they wanted some help there. My colleague that led the course provided lots of audio feedback, and they loved that. And they wanted to know how to use the gradebook and multimedia use. So we've got enough professional development opportunities to sink a battleship this term. I think that is where we are.
All right. Thanks so much, Kristen. That is a wonderful story of the mix of dynamics between community at a small local level and the way it can interact with community at a global level. Thanks for everybody hanging in there as we sent the bits back and forth across the transatlantic pipeline. We're going to move on, but we're going to stick with the topic of instructional design. It's a very hot topic. You guys should check out Christian's Beyond Attractive in the Canvas community, or the instructional design group. And speaking of instructional design, Linda Lee is an instructional design project lead at the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. And I can't wait to hear what she's got to tell us.
Thanks, everyone. So a little bit about Wharton. Wharton is the University of Pennsylvania's business school. It was founded in 1881, and it's the world's first business school. We have a student population of about 5,000, and they're enrolled in 4 different degree programs. And we have students both on the West Coast in San Francisco and also in Philadelphia. A little bit about me. I'm an instructional design project leader at Wharton on the courseware team. And I'm also a part-time lecturer in folklore at the University of Pennsylvania, where I teach both face-to-face and online courses. I've been using Canvas as an instructor since 2014, which is when the University of Pennsylvania switched to Canvas. And I've been using Canvas as an admin since 2015, when I joined the courseware team at Wharton. Wharton has been using Canvas for a really long time. We piloted our first courses in 2011 and did a school-wide adoption in 2012. The rest of the university followed in 2014. So what was it that I was trying to do? I was trying to provide a really easy way for our teaching teams to easily and automatically update content across multiple Canvas sites. Now, we have faculty and admins in multiple programs across the school who have been asking for this capability for years, but we haven't had a way to deliver this until now. And we're really, really, really excited about this. And this became incredibly important this semester because our undergraduate curriculum is currently being revised. And so there's a lot of changes that's happening in some of the new courses and some of the pilot courses where there's some evolving content after the semester started. And when you've got large enrollment, multi-section courses that have multiple Canvas sites, but you need consistency across those courses, there's got to be a better way than copying the content from one site to another as the semester evolves. And so we were really excited when Blueprint courses were introduced, because this provides a way to offer the functionality that we really wanted to do. So what Blueprint Courses does is it offers a way to update content automatically across Canvas sites. It provides, for some of our faculty and teaching teams who need a way to automatically post announcements across multiple Canvas sites, it can also do that. It can provide a common starting point for faculty who are using a shared curriculum, but where some faculty may want to modify content for their own sites. This is something that Blueprint can also handle. And then finally, where that's not appropriate, where consistency really is key, Blueprint courses also offer the ability to lock content to ensure consistent delivery of that course material from one site to another. And so Blueprint really fit the bill for us. So to get started, what I did was we identified 4 use cases that represent a wide range of needs across our teaching teams for a fall 2017 pilot for Blueprint. And I got buy-in from the teaching teams and the admins and the TAs who are working on these courses to try out Blueprint for these needs. And we worked with the teaching teams to determine things like what content, if any, should be able to be changed in the associated sites, who should have access to the various sites, what different kinds of communication routines might be needed, and then worked to train these teaching teams, TAs and admins on using Blueprint courses. Now, for some folks, this was actually for some teaching teams, this was actually really kind of a big change from how they'd been doing things. And this involved teaching them not just how to update the content in the Blueprint sites, but also providing them with better ways for managing many sites at the same time. There's a lot of cross enrollment between the Blueprint sites and the associated sites where there's a common curriculum. So a TA, for instance, might be enrolled in the site for the courses where they're TAing, but then also for the 3 or 4 other Canvas sites for that same course, depending on how the work is organized. So that meant that in addition to planning about the content, we also worked really closely with the teaching teams to help them figure out ways of managing their dashboard in Canvas, for managing their calendar, and for managing their notifications. We didn't really get, for the courses where there's a standardized curriculum, we didn't get pushback from faculty about the standardized curriculum, because that's really the up to the programs themselves to determine. And so we were meeting a need that they already had, and providing them a better way of offering that standardized curriculum. So what we did was we set up the sites, and it turns out that the actual site setup for Blueprint is really easy. Once you set up the site, once you create the site, you go to the course details page here, and as long as there aren't any students enrolled in it, you can tick the box to make it a Blueprint course, as long as you're an admin. After that, we set the locked objects by type according to the needs set out by the particular teaching teams. In general, what we recommended was for assignments, locking content and points so that the content of assignments would stay the same, and then doing the same thing with pages and files. And so that for most of the courses that we used Blueprint for this semester, this was the configuration that worked for most. So that part of it was pretty easy. And then everything else about the site setup was the same as we would do for a template site for any course. So after that, we added the associated sites. And again, this was pretty easy. We created the associated sites using one of 2 processes, either creating them via a script if there was a large number of them, or using our course creation tool. And then, as long as they're in the same subaccount and term, we could search for them in the Blueprint menu, which is accessible on the right side of the screen, search for them, and then add them automatically. And when they're added, content is automatically synced to those associated sites, including, we were really delighted to see, some LTI tools, which made the setup really, really, really easy. And this turned out to be much faster than the previous process that we had used, which involved importing content from one site to another. Next, we worked with the teaching teams about updating content, and it's really obvious what content is locked and what is not. You can see this in a Blueprint site with this blue icon that's next to the published icons, or in an associated site, there's a gray icon that's, again, right next to the published icons. The locked content will ensure consistency across courses, and content that's unlocked can be changed locally. Once content's updated in a Blueprint site, it can be synced automatically across all of those courses simply by selecting the sync button. Again, this is in the Blueprint menu, which is accessible on the right side of the screen. And from within the Blueprint menu, you can also access a history of the changes that had been made in the last several syncs. And we use this process to update the courses for as many as 56 sites at the same time in our Q1 courses, and then 53 in our Q2 courses that have started so far. So this has been really successful for our teaching teams, and one of the programs is the Wharton Communications program is going to be adopting this for the vast majority of their courses going forward. So we're really excited about that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Linda. Yeah, there's been a ton of interest around Blueprint courses, and with a ton of interest comes a ton of questions. So hit the community, search for Blueprint courses. You're definitely going to find Linda. You're going to find other people. They've been doing some great work sharing what they've been figuring out, testing things. So check out the community if you've got interest in Blueprint courses or anything like that. So we're going to now move on to Kenneth Rogers, who's going to tell us about an admin trick. He is the instructional technology specialist at Alamo Colleges. I'm partial because I used to be an instructional technology specialist. So I'm right there with you, Kenneth. So tell us what you got.
All right, thanks, Adam. What up, everybody? As Adam said, I'm Kenneth Rogers. I'm an instructional technology specialist at the Alamo Colleges District in the San Antonio, Texas. Just to give you a bit of history about us, at Alamo, we've got about 35,000 FTE total enrollment of around 60,000. Joys of being a community college and having a lot of part-timers. In terms of Canvas, we've been on Canvas for about 5 or 6 years, and personally, hidden behind my beautiful mug right there says that I've been on Canvas since about August of 2016, so about 15 months or so. But that's not why we're here. What I wanted to do and what I really wanted to talk about is masquerading on mobile devices. What I think is awesome. It's built-in functionality. It's something you can do today, and I hope that when we're done today, if you're an admin, you go and you do this when you're finished here. And not right now, but when you're finished. It's something, like I said, it's built in. It's not something that we're using Canvas in a different way, but it's something that literally blows off my socks every time. So what did I do? First thing you've always got to do when you have a question is you go to the community. And my question was, can I masquerade on a mobile? Of course, the answer is yes. That's why I'm here. You're going to do this in the student app, the red app if you want to call it that, but now it's called the student app. And there's a couple of guides in the community. I'm going to go ahead and give those to you all. Use those. It's beautiful things, but while you're hopefully opening those in a new tab, not reading them, I'm going to give you a couple of caveats about this. Only admins with the correct permissions can masquerade as other users. This is true in Canvas Web as well. There's 2 ways to masquerade on each device type, both Android and iOS. And I'm only going to talk about iOS today. And you're going to notice that in the mobile world, it's still called masquerading, not act as user. And I don't know when or if those 2 worlds are going to combine, but that just wanted to give you all that little caveat. So first up, let's talk about masquerading from a course. So sorry, iOS, it's just what I have so we can get screenshots that way. So let's talk about how it works from a course. You're going to do this version if you are in a course and the user you want to masquerade as is also in this course. So you're going to start in the little people area in that course. You're going to select the user you want to masquerade as. And then there's this blank white space at the bottom, and you're going to take 2 fingers and you're going to double tap there at the bottom. You say masquerade, and you say okay. And now you are masquerading as that person. Totally awesome, totally simple, way cool. Now, the other way to do it is if you are not in the same course as the person. So if you have a person who's reporting an issue on their mobile device and you want to see if you can replicate it, see if you can see if the problems will say really real or not, you would need their Canvas ID for this instance. If you don't know how to get their Canvas ID from Canvas Web, shoot me a message in the community and I'd love to help you out. To do this way, you will start in your profile. In the upper left-hand corner, you click on the profile. Once again, blank white space at the bottom, 2 fingers, double tap, select, you got to put in their Canvas ID in this area, say masquerade, okay. Simple stuff. I love the Canvas developers. Whoever came up with this idea, they deserve, I don't know, whatever their favorite candy is. Way awesome. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, how do I stop masquerading? Also simple stuff. You go to their profile when you're masquerading and you say stop masquerading. And you're done. All right? So now you may be asking yourself, why would I want to do this? Same reasons why you might be wanting to do masquerading on web. For me personally, I have a test user in my my demo course, and I masquerade as that person if I need to submit an assignment, submit a quiz. That's probably 90–95% of the time that I want to do it. We don't get a lot of mobile support questions, so that's really the main reason why I personally masquerade. And with that, I thank y'all so much.
Thanks so much, Kenneth. That is awesome. I really didn't know about that. Yeah, sometimes the things you can do with Canvas still blow all of us away. And the tips and tricks are just too many to have out there in something like a guide. And the community is really the place for those, taking it to the next level. Can't believe I can do that. Speaking of things that you might not have known you could do that can save you a ton of time, we have Roxanne Conroy, the LMS administrator at Independence University, who's going to tell us about some cool stuff you can do with the syllabus.
Hello, everybody. My name's Roxanne. As Adam mentioned, I work for Independence University, and here's just a few small things about me. My bed just fell over. That's one thing that just happened, so it's live and anything can happen. I'm broadcasting from my home office, so I'm sorry if my cat just made a ruckus. I work for Independence University. It's a nonprofit, accredited online college, helping working adults get their degrees for over 30 years. I'm one of 2 system administrators. I run Canvas, I run Zoom. I also run lynda.com for our Independence University instance, but pretty much any program that the college throws our way. So as far as Canvas is concerned, we are young Pandawans. We've been using Canvas since 2014, and we're always learning. So with that being said, the little panda in the picture says, "You can do anything," which brings us to the topic of our lightning round. Syllabus made simple. So I really wanted to create a clear and concise way to present a syllabus that was quick to upload and also downloadable to users who wanted to reference it offline. So this also leads to the fact that you can create an easy way to update the syllabus in case you didn't know. So basically all you have to do is download the file, change the content, save and keep the same file name, and then replace your Canvas files. This will auto-update in your syllabus page. Really cool, really fast. Here's how you do it. I created a PDF version of our syllabus and uploaded it to the Files section in our Canvas. So after doing that, I inserted the PDF into the syllabus info page via the Files sidebar, clicked the link, selected Inline Preview, and boom, updated the syllabus. As Garth says here, it's almost too easy. So let's see how we did it. So as I said before, I uploaded my file. So you don't have to do PDF, but I did PDF because I like PDF and I kind of have a graphic design background, so eh. You can do .docs, whatever you're comfortable with, so long as it's readable, to Canvas. And then using the sidebar that's highlighted, I inserted the syllabus file into my syllabus page. After doing that, all you really got to do is click the link, select auto open the inline preview for this link. So bear in mind, if it doesn't auto open just by clicking the link, all you have to do is click it and then click the link button in the rich content editor. That'll bring up this box. So click the little highlighted one down there that just says auto open inline preview, and it'll bring up a doc viewer looking preview. And here you go. This is what it looks like on desktop and mobile. Desktop, like I said before, has kind of a doc viewer preview feel to it, and mobile is just the standard mobile look, really clean, really intuitive. You can click the top right where the download button is in mobile to download the syllabus, and on desktop, all you have to do is click the file name. So here are some advantages to it. We've got simplicity. So as everyone knows, not everyone can iframe a pretty box with all the information needed, but everyone can have copies of their syllabus on hand. So inserting a preview of the syllabus saves time and course setup. It also streamlines updating the syllabus down the road. So if you have things that you need to add last minute, you're solid. It also helps with accessibility, guys. So students can download this file for personal use offline. They can also hyperlink the assignments. So when you put the actual document in the syllabus, you can hyperlink the assignments in the document. And then when you click that, it'll actually take you to a new tab. Because I know there are some qualms with clicking an assignment in the syllabus page and then having it just direct you to the assignment. When you click it in the doc viewer preview on the syllabus page, it'll take you to a new tab. So that's really helpful. So that's just a really quick quip. It's just really a simple and practical trick that you can implement in your courses to create effective communication for your students. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, Roxanne. That was awesome. Maybe as awesome as the power of cats. And I know we're going to have a presenter a little bit later who is probably going to talk a little bit more about cats. So we'll just leave that alone for now. We've been kind of saving this one. I think this one's a sleeper. If you spend any time on Twitter and the Canvas chats, you're going to see something about Flipgrid. Flipgrid is blowing up. There's a ton of interest, and we have Tammy Ellison, the Director of Instructional Technology and Design from Culver Stockton College, who's going to tell us a bit about Flipgrid and Canvas. And if this is going to be fast, there's a ton of interest, so hit that community to talk about it more. Go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Can everybody hear me? I hope. I'm Tammy Ellison, and I am the Director of Instructional Technology at Culver Stockton College. We're a 4-year liberal arts college in Northeast Missouri. I can get to 2 states in a half an hour. That's how close we are. We have traditional face-to-face classes, and we also have online programs in business administration, accounting, sports management, criminal justice. We have a couple major master programs online, and we're working at 2 more currently. And we run a unique system. We have a 12-3 program. So students on campus take 4 classes during the 12-week program. So as Christian's picture the dog, you know, with the droopy eyes, eating the spaghetti, that's how our students are feeling right now because we're going into finals here in a week. Then they take an intensive class during the 3-week. So we soft launched in the summer of 2016. We fully integrated in the spring of 2017, so the fall semester. Our faculty had a choice. So far, we love it, but we're always, of course, looking for something new, and that's why I came across Flipgrid. After watching one of the webinars on the Canvas community called Course Networking, I happened to open my emerging EdTech newsletter that featured Flipgrid. And so I was really excited about learning it, put a Canvas question out there on the community asking about other people that had used it. Flipgrid is a leading video discussion platform. So It is set up for pre-K through doctoral education, students, families, and of course, the number one feature is a grid is free if you want to. So the first thing I looked at to see is if we could integrate it into Canvas, which of course is a positive yes. Over the beginning, right before the semester started, Flipgrid went on as an app in your navigation. So you can add that to the side menu. One feature note is that when you integrate it into Flipgrid, if you want it to be involved into an assignment, you need to disable Flipgrid on this course navigation. So students go directly through it in the through assignments. So to set up, I step through the Canvas integration. Once you log into Flipgrid, under your accounts, there's a link to integrate, and that'll give you your consumer key and your shared secret to put into the application. You have different features, so you can have a new grid, and that is basically your class. If you want to pay, there are some different options. There's some school district options. There is a unlimited grid, unlimited topics for $65 a year, so it's really pretty reasonable to go. So I teach instructional technology. I also have a library science degree, so I teach intro to research here on campus. One of those, I put on an online study application. So in my current class, we're talking about different things that they can use in their classroom. You can see how easy it is here at the slides. And so you have a topic. You're able to link Google Documents in their videos. They can add emojis if they want. So it's as simple as pressing the green button and videotaping. So over on the right side, you'll see this is what the video screen looks like. The student just goes in, clicks the camera, and they start recording. If they don't like it, they can redo it. And you wait for students' responses as the instructor. This is the screen. It will show multiple videos, and you simply click on it. Your video will come up, and they can listen. It's a great way to have interactive discussions. Students are on their phone, they're Snapchatting, you know that all the time. And so it's so much easier to do a 30-second video discussion rather than spending time writing it out. So the next thing for me is to really advertise this because we have a lot of online programs. We're really anxious to use this. We know we all have those faculty members that are always looking for the next best thing. And so a couple different ways to use this is just doing an introduction. So if you have an online class, have the student do a video introduction rather than just writing out, hello, my name is Tammy and I'm from Missouri. Collaboration works in group work, reflections, flipped classroom, of course. And so there's a lot of different uses for Flipgrid. It's very mobile friendly. So try it out, and I'm excited to share or answer any questions.
Tammy, that was awesome. Thank you so much. There were so many questions and comments going in the chat. You guys head to the community, find each other, get those questions and discussions going, and we will just love to see what happens. We'll be following it, and maybe something will crop up in the next showcase. Speaking of questions and comments in the chat room, earlier someone was mentioning Google Docs and how Google Docs can work with Canvas. And it just so happens that our next presenter, Deborah Bogard, the educational technologist at Delaware City Schools, is going to tell us a bit about Google Docs and folders and Canvas. So take it away, Deborah.
Thanks, everybody. I am here to share my experiences not only with Google Docs, but with project-based learning and the Canvas tools that really help that all to happen. So yes, I am a Star Trek nerd, and I work for Delaware City Schools, a 5,000 student public school district in Central Ohio. I started teaching back in 1994, and I spent my last 12 years in the classroom teaching middle school science. I'm in my 4th year as an ed tech, and that's about the same amount of time that we've been using Canvas. And I am totally having a Canvas love affair. So as an ed tech coach, I wanted to put project-based learning into reach for our teachers. I love project-based learning, and I believe that it's a vital method for student learning. In my past as a science teacher, my students developed projects each year to present at science fair, and that really immersed them in an authentic, choice-driven, problem-based learning environment. I still have former students thanking me for the academic and life skills that it taught them. But it was really hard work for us all, and I was scrambling to adopt as many computer-based tools as I could to free up our time and our energy to focus on the science that they were learning. So now I enjoy exploring new ways to use Canvas and to evangelize PBL at the same time as I work with my teachers and also continue working with science fair students in an after-school club. But let's face it, PBL can be a hard sell to classroom teachers. Students aren't exactly organized, motivated, efficient time users. As a matter of fact, it's probably about the opposite of that. So it's hard to imagine how to provide choice, monitor those activities, keep things organized, all while making sure that students are learning something worthwhile. I'm so happy that within the past year, our school district decided to embrace PBL and provides PBL training and support for our teachers. So now I use my own PBL experiences and my Canvas skills to help teachers develop strategies and solutions to PBL challenges. And just here are a few of the things that Canvas can do to really make things easier. So first of all is Canvas groups. I create student cohorts to work together, to support each other, to teach each other, and the collaborative tools that groups provides are wonderful. You have group created discussions, you have wiki pages, you have collaborative docs. And here the cohort members can really support, consult, and teach each other. Because let's face it, even the most efficient teacher cannot be everywhere at once. And a lot of routine questions and problems can be effectively addressed by peers. The group's environment is also a really tidy spot for cohorts to meet virtually when face-to-face meetings aren't possible. Next, modules comes to the rescue. PBL students often work on completely different projects, which means different tasks at different times and different things to learn on different pacing. So when teachers utilize module access settings, students can get access to what they need when they need it. Using prerequisites, requirements, and controlling the order in which module items must be completed sets a really good work pace, and it funnels the students through their own learning paths without a teacher having to hover over them. Now for flipped videos and self-administered quizzes. You know, many of my videos utilize the old slideshows that I used to present as whole class activities. Projects often involve procedures that I used to spend whole class periods teaching about, such as how to develop a good title for your project, or setting up your lab notebook, or how to write a bibliography. So what I've done is I've repurposed those old slideshows with Screencast-O-Matic, which incidentally is now a Canvas LTI, by recording myself just talking through those presentations. It's not fancy, but it does the job. Now students are able to watch the video, take a short quiz to assure that the material sank in, and move on once they've demonstrated understanding. And now for Google Cloud assignments. You know, back in 2002, my students got printed copies to write on with pencils, and they typed in Word docs. By 2009, they got their own copies of Google Docs with templates that I had created to type in. 2014 brought simplified lesson organization and assignments through Canvas, where students could easily upload their work. And now, in 2017, I can embed one of my templates that Canvas then magically creates copies for each student, who can then turn in their work with one single click. Paperless nirvana. My final slide is my most recent treasure, a shared Google Sheet embedded in a Canvas page that students use to update their progress on project activities. You know, I used to use red and green cups for students to signal when they needed help as I was circulating around the classroom and they're working on their projects. You know, they put the red cup on top, help, I need help. But that way they could keep on working while they were waiting for me to actually get to them. But then the bell would ring, the cups would go flying, and I lost track of who needed help until the next day. Now, utilizing this crazy simple spreadsheet, I know it looks complicated, but it is so easy to put together with some simple data validation and colorful conditional formatting. And the students click and instantly communicate their progress and their needs for me to view anytime to plan my strategic coaching. So I love my Canvas, I love my Google, and I love my PBL. And I think that Canvas and Google go together like peas and carrots and corn, or perhaps like tribbles and quadriticale and Vulcans. Anyway, teach long and prosper. Thank you.
Oh, thanks so much, Deborah. That was a beautiful example of how the community can step in to close the gaps, both on how to do technical things a certain way that you might not have known, and how to get in there and really hash out what's going on with subjective best practices or share ideas. And if there's a person who really encapsulate that, I think it's our next presenter, Laura Gibbs, an online instructor, the University of Oklahoma. She is very prolific in the community. You should definitely go follow her, just like all of our presenters here today. She's going to talk about embedding in Twitter.
Coming up, is everything good? There we go. Hi, everybody. I've been outed here as a human being. You might have thought I was a fox. I put both the fox and the picture up there so you know who I am. And I am indeed very active at the community, and I know we're running out of time. So I'm actually going to be really quick here. I think Stephanie shared a link to a blog post that I wrote earlier today that has these materials, and please check it out, pursue the links, ask me questions, because I'm just going to run through the slides really quickly here, because the next person after me, Kona, is talking about what's my favorite thing. Twitter's maybe my next favorite thing, but growth mindset, my favorite thing, that's Kona. So stick around for that. I've been teaching online since 2002. I share everything in public, at my blogs, at my courses. There are links. Go look. It's all there. What I'm talking about today is how I use Twitter. I use Twitter for my own personal learning online, but I also use it to share content with my students. And so I really want to emphasize the value, the incredible value of Twitter as a continuous 24/7 content source. Set up your Twitter, feed it into Canvas, and in just a few minutes a day, you can supply your students with all kinds of cool stuff. To make that work, I created a separate Twitter account for my classes. You can link to that there. You can see all the cool stuff that I'm able to find and share with my students. Why? Because I have a list. I have a list of the accounts that supply me with great stuff. My favorite authors in India, the Smithsonian, and other museums, all kinds of cool stuff. And then I use the power of Twitter widgets to display that Twitter content in all kinds of places, including inside Canvas. And I built a kind of workshop. Twitter for Canvas tells you everything you need to know. During the summer, I was curious how long it really takes to make one of these Twitter widgets, right? Because nobody has time for anything. I made a widget, start to finish, step by step. I was scrupulously honest. It took me 5 minutes. So there's a blog post at the community where I made a little InstructureCon Twitter widget in under 5 minutes. You can do it too. Or if you don't use Twitter yet and you just want to cruise around and see how you can look at Twitter for distributed content, sharing content, you can use my widgets if you want. So if anybody is there from my school, University of Oklahoma, yay. I have created a widget for our student newspaper. Just copy and paste a little snippet from my course into your Canvas course. You have the OU Daily. You can have the OU History Department. They have the best departmental Twitter stream that I've seen. It's full of cool stuff every day. Our libraries have an excellent Twitter stream. And then beyond the University of Oklahoma, Folklore Thursday, fabulous event every week at Twitter. You don't even have to have a Twitter account. Just copy and paste a little snippet, put it in your Canvas, see how cool it is. Okay, now it's time for Kona.
Yay, Kona! If you don't know Kona, you probably haven't been in the community very long, and that's okay. Spend some more time, and it won't be long before you meet her. Some of us affectionately call her the queen of the community. She has been inspired by our previous presenter, and she as the director of online community at Richland Community College. I should give you all the details, even though I feel like everybody already knows her. And she's going to tell us about growth mindset and what she's been doing and how the community influenced it. Take it.
Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me. So really brief, because I know we've run a little bit over. I work at Richland Community College. It's a relatively small college in Illinois that's literally smack dab in the middle of cornfields. I mean, we're literally surrounded by cornfields. We have traditional, hybrid, online. We're just kind of your average community college. We've been using Canvas for 5+ years, and my role there is basically a little bit of everything. So I train, instructional design, support, assessment, faculty professional development. But what I'm going to talk to you about today is my role as an adjunct instructor of statistics. So I've always, I felt like I was doing okay. Not great, not amazing, not horrible. Just, I was doing okay as a teacher, right? So all of a sudden, though, I had this light bulb moment. And it happened while I was in the community. And what happened was Laura Gibbs just came on the scene and just kind of took over like a whirlwind. If any of you follow Laura, and she posts so prolifically, and it's so inspiring in regards to her passion for learning, teaching her students, and growth mindset. And so the more that I read, and the more, this light bulb, like, you know what, there's stuff I could be doing. Like, this is really amazing. So what I started doing was, or what I really wanted to do after reading through all of Laura's stuff and, talking with her back and forth in the community, is I really decided I wanted to really make a connection with my students. I wanted to motivate them. I wanted to be present in my online course. And I know that sounds funny, but there really is a difference between just dialing it in and actually being present in your online course. Also, I wanted to serve as a positive role model for my students, encourage growth mindset, and practice growth mindset for myself. So those were kind of the big things. So basically, the biggest thing is I was done being okay. And I know that sounds funny, but that's kind of been my mantra this entire semester. I was done being okay. So what did I do? It sounds kind of simple, and it really, to some extent, it is. I went through a lot of what Laura did. I started reading some of the growth mindset stuff on myself, doing my own research, and I decided to insert growth mindset into my course language. So that means from my very first introduction page to my students about the course and about me, to the way my assignments were written, to my interactions with students. Everything I did, I really tried to kind of frame in a growth mindset of how can I make this the best that it can be for my students. As part of that, I actively participated and engaged with my students in class discussions. And so an example here is an assignment where I had asked them to set goals. And at this point, I wanted them to kind of go back and reassess at midterm how they were doing with their goals. And I replied back to a student about, the biggest thing is to acknowledge where you could have done better and strive to make the right changes. And that's kind of that growth mindset of you're kind of always positively, focusing the students on, okay, maybe you didn't do what you thought was the best, but here's what you can do. And it's just, I've gotten amazing feedback from the students. I can't even imagine like all the stuff I've been missing over the last couple of years not doing this, because the students, once I started being active and really being present in my class, my students just, they came alive. It's been absolutely amazing, the feedback and the conversations I've been having with them. And so what else I've been doing is providing a lot of constructive feedback to the students, lots and lots and lots. And so ways that I did this in Canvas and how I think Canvas makes it really easy is first message students who. So I was able to go into the message students who and say, you know, for every student who scored above a certain, then I'm going to send them this positive message of, hey, you did awesome, and you know, let's look for ways you can maybe do even better and, you know, advance what you're already knowing. For students who scored below, I would say, you know, hey, it looks like maybe you didn't understand something. What can we do? Could you reassess maybe where you went wrong given the feedback I gave you, and let me know if there's something I can do to, you know, bridge the gap. Then also, I love rubrics. So actually, I mean, I gave tons of feedback with my rubrics, with the assignment comments. I love that you can do audio comments, you can do video comments right there. You can grade in line. There's just so much. Did someone lose audio, video? Oh, someone else did. Okay, sorry, just wanted to make sure. And then also, what I really love now too is that you can click on someone's name and you get that little pop-up. And I love the pop-up box that has information about the students, the grades, their analytics, their last assignments, and the fact that you can just message them straight from there and give them amazing amounts of feedback. So for me, these are all ways that Canvas makes it really easy to take some of those principles, take some of those things that Laura talks so much about with growth mindset, and really just give students tons of positive feedback or just useful feedback. Maybe it's not always positive, maybe it's you could have done better, but I'm always providing them something that will help them improve what they're doing.
Thank you so much, Kona. That was great. I really do think the community is a great place for that growth mindset. It really is about the journey and not the destination. And once you hit your plateau, where do you go next? Hit the community if you've got questions. All right. So I know we're a little bit over, but we're just going to say to heck with time because we saved the best for last. I think really why we all do this is it's about learners. And we would be remiss if we didn't hear from a student today, because students are a big part, not only of why we do what we do, but of the community as well. You may not see them as much in the community. A lot of times they drop by quickly, but when they get involved, they have so much value to bring to the conversation. And so now we're going to hear from Nieves Pacheco. She's a student at the University of Florida, and I really just wanted to put down, instead of student, the whole reason. But for now, we're just going to say student, and I think that title is meaningful enough on its own. Tell us about Canvas and about the community, Nieves.
Introduction. Can everybody hear me? So I'm Nieves Pacheco. I'm an online student and an avid Canvas user. A little bit more about myself. I started my education journey at Florida Southwestern State College, and I'm about to graduate with a psychology degree from the University of Florida. I work at a rehabilitation facility named Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation, and I'm an addiction technician. I've been using Canvas since the very beginning. It started with blended courses, and now I'm full out online. It's been 6 years since I began. I thought it would be more appropriate to start out with what I need as an online student. The nature of online learning generally involves a balancing act, and in my case, I have to balance being a mom and having a job and being a student. So what I need from an online platform is the right balance of the right features. And for me, it's structure and flexibility. And that's exactly what I get with Canvas, which is why I say Canvas is fluid like water. Because for me, that just means that I get to integrate Canvas whichever way fits best. And I tend to use the mobile app almost as much as I use the web browser, if not more. It's one of my favorite things. but I will go over some more of my favorite things in these next few slides here. I love the calendar, or the fact that you can integrate your Canvas calendar with your Google Calendar. I tend to use both. I use the Canvas calendar and the Google, and then when I found out I can combine them, it's just made my life so much easier. You'll see here up at the top some screenshots of my phone. There you'll see one with the Google Calendar, and right next to that is a Canvas widget. I just love this widget. It's on my home screen. It's the first thing I see when I open my phone. It's my to-do list. And I love having it there because it kind of keeps me grounded and focused. Something else that's really amazing are the notifications. You get them in real time. I get announcements straight to my phone. I can see when my teacher posts an announcement or when a peer responds to a discussion. And this was so useful, especially when I lost internet due to Hurricane Irma. I still had phone service. So I was able to see all these announcements that were really relevant towards what was going on at the time. Some other things that makes Canvas so great is just the ease of access, the clean interface, the forums that have so much information, and the potential for great classroom interaction. Right here at the top is a screenshot of the Canvas guide that I used to link my Canvas calendar to my Google Calendar. It was so easy. I went into my web browser, I went into the help button, I saw the Canvas guides, and I found the right one with pictures and step-by-step instructions. And here at the bottom is the interface for my web browser and my mobile interface. And I like how clean they look. What I think is best in the interface is that it's so intuitive. I think for students that don't know how to use Canvas, they could easily figure it out just by navigating and exploring it. Some things that I'd like to see in the future is multiple due dates for discussions. Like I said in the past, being an online learner is kind of hectic. So these due dates provide a little bit more structure and would be very helpful, as well as embedding photos to discussions. There is a way to upload photos, but I think if we had the embed option, it would make things so much easier and it would be used far more. And that little tiny flying panda down there at the corner, he's on my Android phone. And I just love him. So I hope that we can get him on the iPad and the iPhone. So when I upgrade and get rid of my Android phone, I can still see him. But finally, I really would like to thank Canvas. Thank you so much for making my life as an online student so much easier.
Thank you so much, Naibis. That perspective is so important to hear, maybe the most important to hear. After all, we're all learners, and that is what the community is great for, as someone said in the chat, learning and co-learning. So we want a really big round of applause for everybody who presented, everybody who showed up here. If you're watching this recorded, you get applause too. This engagement that you bring to the community is exactly why the magic happens. And all we can really do is stand in awe of the magic and try and distill it, snapshot it, and spread it as far and wide as it can go. So tell your friends, tell your colleagues, they need to come meet up with these amazing people and see where it takes them next. Or you have an idea for an event that you would like to do, Canvas Live, it does include community member created content. So all you have to do is head over to live.canvaslms.com and you can learn how to create your own events. You can follow the space to get notifications of other events, and you can join a group to talk to people who've presented or people who are thinking about presenting. And we would love to see you in our next showcase or in our next Canvas Live presentation.